Traders, what a day, what a day, what a day, man. You know, EPIX, man, the stock of the day. You know, yesterday we had some decent momentum on, I believe it was TSHA. Yeah, TSHA, we had some really good momentum today. EPIX. Initially, this stock was not tradable in Thinkorswim up until about $3, right? $3. I mean, what an incredible move. All I talked about today, right? I believe over here is where the volume came in. All I talked about while I was watching this thing is how I was wishing it was tradable on Thinkorswim, and the comments was absolutely raving. The Discord, the YouTube stream, everyone trying to get Relentless Trader's attention to let him know this stock is tradable. But guys, you know, if you didn't believe me, you know, hopefully you guys believe me now. Once I get dialed in into the trading, I do not look at the comments. It's like everything else is shut out. You know, I almost get tunnel vision, which sometimes isn't good because I miss key call outs or of course key you know, action on the scanners, right? If something else is moving up, that's really good. But ultimately, you know, I feel like one stock is the way for me to go at a time. And it is what it is. I will miss other opportunities and other call outs. It's just, I think, you know, part of the deal, right? So I do want to quickly touch on Meta, which had earnings, right? I think Ford and a few other ones as well. But Meta is a company that I kept an eye on for a long time. How the mighty has fallen, man. Let's look at its daily chart going back to, you know, 383. It's absolutely getting obliterated. And I believe we can use a segment line to get the percentage. And then we'll jump right into the small cap stuff, of course. Where are we? So let's see. From those highs to where we are now, we are down essentially, let's see, 67%, man. Still not as bad as Netflix, though. Netflix, after this drop off, because, you know, this one was absolutely crazy. You know, we had about a 75-80% drop on this one, so that was absolutely terrible. Right now, we've definitely recovered a lot. We're at 56% compared to all-time highs, and from those lows, we are up 76%. So not a bad bounce. I remember there was a big investor. Was this the guy named? There's these two guys that goes against each other. Bill Ackman, Carl Icahn, something like that. One of them had mentioned a while back that he's buying down here. You know, right now he's up 76%, so it's pretty impressive. You know, opportunities to be made all over the markets, man. All over. From 171, we're very close to 300. So yeah, Netflix, big tech in general. Google also had earnings recently, and this one took a drop off, right? From, let's see, 104, 105. You know, after the split, now we're at 94. Right? We had to split the same time as Tesla, I believe. This one on the daily chart also down a fair amount. If we were to put a segment on this one, let's see, from 150 we are down 37%. But you know, much more fair, much stronger company compared to Netflix and Meta, right? The weaker ones are being weeded out right now. All right, Amazon down 46%, about 44% right now. So you can see some of the companies are holding up much better than others. And, you know, will things get worse before they get better? That's the question right now. Will things get worse before they get better? The SPY, we had lows around 27%. Right now, we're around 21%. So will things get worse before they get better? I think so, man. But, you know, there's no way of guaranteeing. So we'll keep watching every day. And we'll keep an eye. Right, do I have to sign in? Okay, no, I do not. So yeah, SPY right now seems to be a little sideways in after hours. So to jump into the small cap trading, right? Let's go to positions. RNAZ. Let's talk about this quick loss. So during the open hours, we took a $70 loss buying right here. I don't think I'm going to take this trade moving forward. It's not the best thing, and it's also not quite a trend either. Long at 150, out at 147, 75 bucks I'll never get back. Trying to see if we can get a bit of a double bottom in this range, but that wasn't the case. So I waited patiently. We broke down. It started to curl back up. I tried to buy this dip right here. It was in a little too high, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was in like just 1 or 2 cents higher, but thinking it was going to continue to drop, came back out. We finally bottomed out and curled up, and I waited for the first pullback right here. This area I had shares sitting at 43, 44, 4,000 shares to be exact. But a lot of trading is not exact, and it's all about intuition. And when we saw 45, I thought it was bottoming out, but I wasn't confident. Didn't take it. It did curl back. So from 45 right here, we got highs of 149, 4 cents. Not anything crazy. Very tight range. This stuff is hard to trade, which is why, of course, I was trying to get it as low as I can, although it didn't pull back that much. So in this area here is where I think I took a poor trade. So at the time, the 5-minute charting started to look like this. This big red candle came, and I bought the dip. So usually I'll buy the second dip, which is not a problem, but not when the charting is looking this terrible, So this ultimately was not a good trade. We lost, I believe, maybe like 180 on that. So that was very avoidable, not an A quality setup. So moving on to the big boy stock of the day, EPIX, the one that you guys saw the madness on earlier today. So it was tradable in this area here, and I didn't know, and I didn't touch it all the way up until right here. This is when I realized it was actually tradable after everything was done. So we'll talk about this in a second, right? Let's look at some of the setups that this thing provided. And with how I've been trading the last few days, I've been very patient. I've been very disciplined. I think if this stock was only tradable from the start and it was on the radar from early, and I do want to go back and check my gap scan, because I might have missed it from very early, but if it was in play and it was being talked about all along as a stock to keep an eye on, I would have known. And I'm very curious, for me, it's like every day it's almost like a race, right? On your marks, set, and go, boom, you hear that the fire. Today it felt like I never had a fair fight. I didn't have a chance to really show what I wanted to do on this stock, to prove to myself what I'm capable of. So it was so disappointing. To me, that's the number one thing that's upsetting. I live for momentum. I love to trade momentum. I have the most fun in the world trading these stocks, especially when they're like this, and it's like to be robbed this opportunity. It's blasphemous, man. It's just I don't know what words to use. It's just it's sickening, really. So I don't know what type of manipulation Thinkorswim was playing with us. You can't trade it and then you can. Like, I don't know what's going on. It reminds me of GameStop. Hey, Robinhood, all these companies. Hey, you can't buy the stock anymore. You can't sell it anymore. All this nonsense. Whilst other brokers are able to trade it. So, it's like so frustrating. But anyhows, enough of that. These are the setups. Potential scalp opportunities over 218 as we started to curl. We got a high of 231. The first pullback comes down to lows of 223. You might ask, hey, where's 223? 227 was the pre-market highs. Let's see, 225. Looks like I might have had that level a little low in there. Let's see, 225, 227. Yeah, so 220. This entire range here, right? So the first high of day level that we had was at 225, right? And so we have a high of 30, 32. We dip down. We hold 23, 22, 23, 23. That's the dip entry. It rips. And, for me, if I'm unwinding at 30, I'm scalping this move here. We get to a high 54. Same thing. Lows of, let's see, 43, 43, 43. Sometimes, and as we saw in previous recaps, we get the dip and it's just a one quick bottoming wick and right back up. This gave time to accumulate a position. So entry of 43, 45, that range, low 40s, mid 40s. We break high of day over 54. So let's say I'm risking 5 cents. If I'm in at like 44, let's say even like a 7 cent risk. If I'm in at like 44 and my stop is around, let's say 38, high of days at 54, and so we have at least actually no, what was that, 44? That only been 10 cents, so I wouldn't have wanted to risk more than 5 cents, so 39 would have been my stop. And can we curl back up? It's going to hold really well and it's going to curl up. And once again, if I'm unwinding this as 55, I'm buying back to scalp this move. And this is where it really started to show its power in terms of range. So when the volume came in on this breakout here, false breakout initially 21, volume comes in higher, right? And I guess more retail traders, since now more brokers are able to trade it, we absolutely rip. Low of the pullback was 93, 93, 92. It does not get any smoother than this in terms of stair stepping up and our zone for our pullback. And look at how, sometimes the candles will do this, right? This red candle maybe goes down like this and chops you out and then rips. It doesn't even break down. So, it's like, oh man, this is the perfect stock that I needed to test out my strength. Anyhow, it gives this 1 minute dip and then it rips. I believe this is where I took a trade on E-Trade in this pullback. So it rips up to highs of 55. The low of this dip here, it was 25. Low of 24. Low of 25. Low of 24. I did take this trade in my E-Trade account. A really small size, 200 shares. That was this last trade right here. I did mention, so earlier we got in at 41 and came out at 28. And I said it, it was a bit of a riskier trade. It was more so of a scalp in case this right here, it was on this candle, in case this candle was actually going to be a green bar like that, right? So I took the chance. Wasn't the case. We got back in on the dip. Beautiful move. I sold at 50. It kept going 60. And I noticed the struggle here. I'm certain if I had shares available, and I've been going short, this would have been perfect, man. 55, I noticed it. There's no coincidence that in terms of the analysis, if you're watching on live, I'm saying that I don't like it up here, and then we get this big drop. It happens all the time, and we try again. It rejects. This is where I go into the backyard, have some fun, exercise. Come back, and I came back at like maybe 55, so I came back luckily like pretty close to this area here. Well, I wouldn't even say luckily, because I was in the backyard, but I was listening in on the Discord in the voice audio, and the guys were saying that it's moving up a little bit, so I came back, and right here in this green candle, I was actually looking at my phone to mute all my notifications, right? And it just goes. I'm looking at it. It's at 4:35. I look down for like what felt like 5 seconds. Look back up. I'm hearing, in our Discord, the guy saying, "Oh, there's 65." And so I get my hand on the buy button. Can we see a dip? Can we see a dip? It hits, I believe, like 74, then 85, then from there, it just jumps up into the halt price at 409. No dip. If this would have given a dip, I would have for sure been up a couple of $100. If it dips slightly and then keeps going, for sure, we would have gotten money. Resumption. Dip and rip. This is at 12:05. I caught a beautiful dip and rip. $550 in one trade. Boom, almost instantly. 12:05. Watch this dip and rip, right? So this is the halt. I'm long, and this is my first trade coming back. I'm long at 99. So there was about 500,000 shares of sellers. 100,000 here, 200,000 there, 100,000 here, 100,000 there. About 200,000 shares of sellers, and we absolutely bought up all those shares. And on the last seller of like 100,000, as it dropped to 90, 80, 70, 60, once I saw like 60, I just bought. Because of the trend of us just buying everything up, I said, hey, I'm in. It rips up 25 cents. I sell immediately in the pop. You can see 1 second later, 550 in gains. Absolutely lovely. And here's where it got a little tricky. So you can see I sized down. Okay, 1,500 shares. Let's see what this stock wants to do. I tried a few scalps. Let's see. Let's see. Time 12:06. 389. I got a trade in at 389. Unbelievable. Let's see. Oh yeah. Wow. Ooh. You see this? Man, this is beautiful. This is a dip. I believe this was a dip. I didn't realize I had gotten it that low. So I had bought as it came down here to make new lows. But I panicked out. Man. Oh man. You know, so you guys know how it is, right? The scalps only come after we miss out on a good dip. And we missed out on this dip. We bought beautifully down here. And if we were to hold this 1,500 shares, we would be selling it at 445. Instead, that it doesn't go according to plan. So I kind of botched the trades in here. I took a few scalps here and there. Didn't see anything. And I recognized what was going on. I ultimately knew. I realized that we bottomed out. And I messed up. What I needed to do here at 89, I needed to give it a chance. But it's very volatile. You know, we've seen big red candles. I'm a little fearful. I kind of want to protect the gains a little bit. Panic out of the trade. You know, from 89, even if I had told myself, hey, 84 stop. Risk 5 cents. This would have been good money. I could have unwinded into this move. Instead, I panicked out, tried to scalp it, and it was a mess. So what I had to do, I tried scalping at the highs. It just wasn't the best. There was another dip that came somewhere. I think here. I took this dip. So at 12.10. But I only caught it with 500 shares. That was the bad thing. Because I thought it would have maybe consolidated at the lows. So I was buying in smaller increments. And I missed it. Let's see. Was it over here? I might have... Let's see. 500 shares. 500 shares. Or was it after the flush? I think it was here. Yeah, this is it. This is at 12. No, this is 12.29. So I don't think I caught this. Okay, so I missed this dip. This was a beautiful one as well. 12.29 is where I caught the last. Yeah, there we go. This is it. This is the last dip it gave. Man, it's like, man, if you're just patient and it's actually hitting the scanner right now, EPIX. So it's moving up in power hour, after hour. Yeah, setting the scans. Guys, this is the perfect place to say it. Check out Momo Pro. EPIX hitting the scans even now. Code Relentless for 25% off. Check it out. Yeah. So, you know, all along, there's no need for all these trades. All I need to do is be in down here with big size, with a stop in place, and just sell into the high. Because look at this, from 86 to 445, from 94 to 430. There's two beautiful trades already. From 93, this time it bounces to 24. Even if you sold at 24, hey, still a great trade. But it does go to 40, 45, and then eventually rips to the 200 EMA to 510. So I lost money. The 550, I gave it all back on a few scalps, which wasn't good. And then a big flush. I got caught in a flush for like 380, maybe like 300. That was right here. In at 18, out at 96. So we had the big gain, right? We attempted scalps for the next push higher up. We lost $100. So we lost 4 cents on 2,500 shares. And then we sized down a little bit for the dip. The dip absolutely blazed us. Now, it's a high dip, but I assume the consolidation was moving up higher, but no, it was still respecting these same levels. So that's how I got caught in you know, what was the timestamp right there? Timestamp at 12:10. So I got caught right, and I think actually that's why I didn't buy this dip. Now that I'm thinking, the reason I didn't buy this dip was because I was selling at the bottom, and it's so hard to buy immediately after a big loss like that, right? And so we waited, you know, scratch trades here, which we should have avoided. Well, losses really. We caught this dip. That was good. I bought 1,000 shares, and you know, the dips, you guys know the dips are hard. So I bought at 403, bought again as it went lower. I sold because I felt like I was in too high and it might go to mid 80s again. But ultimately, we were able to unwind shares at like 19. And so at this point, I'm now green again, 120 after capturing 500 shares at least, and coming back out. So from green 120, we fought back through all this range and we made back money on some scalps. I'm not going to go over all the trades. What are we pushing? 20 minutes already. I'm not going to go over every single trade, but you know, the road ahead is clear, man. I know what needs to be done. I just have to be confident and just buy, and manage risk. This thing looks like it wants to be in play for tomorrow, so I'm hoping it continues going. Absolutely beautiful move. It would have been nice to get in on a, and that's the thing, like, you know, there's no telling how confident I probably would have already been if I was very green already, you know, if it was tradable from the start. There's no telling how confident I could have been, and would I have been buying these dips with bigger size and just waiting. So I want another chance. I need another chance. I want to prove it to myself that I can be a better version of myself, right? I can be that version of myself that I envision. And so 588 is decent, but it's nothing in the grand scheme of what is going on and what I'm seeing and what I'm envisioning. And so it's only a matter of time. I'm going to continue to chase down my greatness, and it's only a matter maybe of days before I can really put it into a chokehold and never let it go. Traders, hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Let's continue to improve. Let's continue to make progress. If you're red today, it's not the end of the world. Let's just hit the books. Let's keep studying. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep getting better. It's been Relentless Trader, and I am, of course, signing out.